Okay, guys, this is huge. This is breakthrough. I just figured out something huge, and this explains why people like you and I, conservative-minded individuals, or like me as a black conservative, why I want to pound my head up against the wall when I hear these crazy leftist Democrats talking, where it just sounds like, okay, they're psychotic, they're nuts. Well, I just figured it out. The big difference between us and them is they live in the land of make-believe. They like to argue about what-if scenarios that don't really exist. And they want you to get outraged and upset about things that aren't even happening, but they could happen. It might happen. And so we got a new idiot in town, and it's Cory Booker. All right, so this guy actually called Walmart Obama. He said, hey, Herman Munster, you need to sit your ass down. I am the new idiot in town. Click. And so we're going to look at some footage that's just absurd. And what I'm going to do is give you a stark contrast and show you the outrage of believing in fantasy land and then what's really going on here in the real world. So I got a lot of great clips that I'm going to set side by side. It's going to blow your mind. Watch this all the way through. We're just going to bounce through clips. And holy smokes, wait till you see this stuff. So let's just start out with Mr. Cory Booker, who thinks he's the new Herman Munster, Timu Obama. Let's listen to some of his outrage, and then I'll splice in a little bit of reality along the way. Cut to the clip.
I'm almost at the Newark airport right now, and I've got one simple message. Get ICE out of my airports and fund TSA. We have tried over and over again to stop you from holding hostage the TSA and causing all this pain to the American people. And you won't do it, Donald Trump. You won't do it because you want to use our TSA agents and the American people, you want to use them as political pawns to create leverage for you to fund a reckless and out of control agency.
We are in a national crisis by Donald Trump's making. He has refused to let dollars flow to the TSA that we have 7 times now on this floor of the Senate. Democrats over and over again are offering up resolutions to fund the TSA. But the reason why he's not doing it is because he wants to continue the reckless, chaotic actions of ICE.
Bother anybody? I'm okay. I was concerned about people. So they're not bothering us. Let's get it done.
Donald Trump is saying, I'm going to extract maximum pain from the American people in order to try to pressure you to fund my out-of-control agency, ICE.
So if you see wait times go down while you're traveling, you may just want to thank an ICE officer.
Earlier this morning, travelers may have experienced a little bit of a wait time, but since I've been here, the lines seem to be moving fairly smooth.
And so what's happening today in America that should outrage everybody? He's taking this very same agency that has been bursting into our schools, into our churches, into our hospitals, into our courts, and even into the homes of Americans. He's taking that agency that is reckless and out of control and bringing them to our airports under the lie that somehow this is going to help deal with the long lines that he created in the first place.
But the New York Times reports that ICE agents are at Houston. Again, as we were saying, ICE agents were also seen this morning at Atlanta. But right now, in terms of the lines, not too bad here at DFW. Back to you.
Okay, what do you think of that? You're starting to see what I'm talking about here? You got the land of make-believe where he's living in, outraged, and then you got reality. But it doesn't stop there because he even makes up these scenarios just like Walmart Obama does, where he switches reality and twists things around, turns stories completely upside down to make what we know to be true to be the opposite. So let's watch him in action as he's on MS Now, more of the same BS Now, talking to Joe and Mika, which are 2 other idiots. And you're going to hear more of this fake outrage over make-believe land. And then listen to how specifically how he turns the whole situation around and makes it seem like it's the Republicans who are responsible for ICE agents, or I'm sorry, for the TSA agents not getting paid. Take special note. Notice how he flips this whole situation on its head. Cut to the clip.
Of a deal from Republican senators that came back from the White House. Some talks that they're going to try to draft a deal that Democrats and Republicans can all agree to. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the deal is no different than what we've been demanding. I know that they're calling this the Texas two-step. I prefer the Jersey, get the hell out of my way. They put ICE in our airports to cause more chaos and, frankly, cruelty to the passengers who are waiting in long lines. That's not where ICE belongs. We should have paid TSA weeks ago. Democrats have for 7 times tried to get them just to pay TSA, pay FEMA, pay the Coast Guard. We are fighting over ICE because they've been doing horrific, hellish things in our community, slamming Americans to the pavement, barging and breaking down doors to American homes, pulling veterans out in their underwear.
What the fuck?
And putting them in zip ties. So if they want to fund that through reconciliation, which is a 50th vote threshold, that's their right and their prerogative. But I'm not going to vote for another dollar for that agency.
Hey, Senator, could you explain to people that may not have been following this closely how Democrats, you say 7 times, have gone to the floor and tried to get our TSA agents in airports paid, and Republicans have killed that every single time. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's very simple. There's been a massive fight over ICE, which is in the Department of Homeland Security. There has been, understandably, all across this country, worries about their tactics, the violence that's resulted, the chaos in communities. And so Democrats have said we're not giving more money to an agency that's out of control without substantive reforms. Well, what this president and the Republicans' position is, okay, if you don't want to fund ICE, you're not going to fund any other agency. We're going to shut down the whole Department of Homeland Security. And that's absurd. They're holding TSA hostage, causing pain there in hopes that it'll force many of our moderates to break and say, okay, don't hurt us anymore. We'll give you what you want with ICE. That's just not happening. That's DOA. And we hope that this deal that they're about to do, which is called a deal, really it's a capitulation to really what we need right now, which is to release our airports, release funding to TSA and to other key agencies like FEMA and like the Coast Guard, and let's start ending the cruelty and, frankly, the chaos that you've been causing with these ICE agents, which are funded already to the tune of an amount greater than most countries' militaries.
But wait, there's more. So we don't just have Cory Booker, who's trying to, hold the crown as idiot of the Democratic Party. Chuck the Schmuck Schumer said, hold my beer. Let's watch his version of recreating reality and living in the land of make-believe. Cut to the clip.
Everywhere ICE goes, trouble follows. We've seen that. And it is highly likely the airports will be no exception. No one trusts that ICE is going to make things better.
Once again, ICE agents have arrived here in Philadelphia, but I do want to point out, this is an empty line right now. We are standing in the middle where travelers come to check in for TSA. Yesterday, this was all the way back to the garage. So good news today, lines aren't too bad. We're live from PHL. Brianna Gallagher, Channel 6 Action News.
It's just absolutely crazy. But it's not just with elected officials and famous people. People like Chuck the Schmuck and Cory Booker and Timu Obama, they have caused a contagion of this mental disease, this derangement of the mind, where people have joined them in the land of make-believe. Now, check this out. This is what takes the cake right here. Here's a guy that works for the TSA. He works for the freaking TSA, and he apparently is in a management position. And so he even can't live in reality, and he's right there watching all the action. You won't believe what he has to say. Let's check this guy out who obviously has Trump Derangement syndrome and hear what things are like in his land of make-believe in the mind. Cut to the clip.
There's There's also some mixed messaging here, right? Because we're hearing that from Secretary Duffy, but then Tom Homan, who's overseeing this deployment, he has said, look, this is just to help for functions that ICE agents are not trained for. He says, this could help with maybe security lines. So we're seeing that in Atlanta. My colleagues there on the ground saying ICE agents are outside the security checkpoint. I guess essentially it could be sort of a crowd control situation. Does that help, though, in your view, when it comes to wait times?
Wait for it. Here it comes.
No.
What? What the fuck?
Oh my God! Wow!
Ah! In Atlanta, there are people already out there directing the lines and directing passengers to navigate the airport. I don't think that helps. I think that would probably put more passengers on the edge, just from my experience in talking with family and friends. I don't think that's a welcomed thing there by the traveling public.
You serious?
I like it. I mean, I think Trump's doing a hell of a job. I like it.
Most of the travelers we spoke with say while it's disappointing the current shutdown is having a negative impact on TSA staff, they're pleased to see ICE agents stepping in.
They're protecting us. Yeah.
I was actually very excited to see some of the ICE agents here helping out their fellow workers. So that made me feel better that we have some extra hands on deck to make things happen.
The numbers have dropped off. The lines are getting shorter. I think the average wait time now is under 40 minutes. So if you have a flight to catch today, it's a good time to come to Hartsfield-Jackson International.
I mean, come on. You see something like that and you're like, there's no saving this guy. It's just complete psychosis. This is a psyop. It's a psyop. And it obviously it's working. Okay, so let's take it a step further. So instead of, you would think that people would be happy that things are going well. You see that some people are, but even though the lines are disappearing, things are getting more secure at the airports. No, we've got groups of people who are actually protesting. They're upset. First, they're upset about ICE agents out in the streets disappearing families and American citizens. That's all in make-believe land. You would think that they would be happy that they're off the streets and they're at the airports, but no, they can't be happy about that either. So here in Atlanta, you actually got a group of idiots protesting. Okay, so I want you to check out this protest. They're mad that the lines are disappearing, apparently. And then I want you to take special note of the crazy lady behind the reporter in the second clip. And look at the flag that she is waving. And that's going to tell you all that you need to know about this individual and about what's going on in the skulls of these leftist radicals. Cut to the clip.
There's a protest scheduled against ICE here at the airport in the next 2 hours or so. So now you have extra police officers from the Atlanta Police Department ready to respond to what may happen when protesters arrive. And we've been told they actually applied for a permit.
ICE out of ATL! 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 Hey TSA now! Hey TSA! Clear! Donald Trump, let's be clear! Immigrants are welcome here! Donald Trump, let's be clear! Donald Trump, let's be clear! Immigrants are welcome here! Immigrants are welcome here!
We understand that there was just a protest taking place behind you?
Yeah, and it's just wrapping up just now, Jennifer and Ron. They were out here protesting ICE's involvement in the airport operations and really just the presence of these ICE agents here. There's just a few stragglers, but this went on for about the last hour. Now, I also spoke with the general manager of the airport a couple hours ago, and he told me that about 34 to 35% of these TSA agents had called out for the day. Now, we spoke with somebody inside TSA, and that source telling us that number is closer to 38%. The GM telling us that those ICE agents were here to help with crowd support, again, while it was really strenuous with the wait times earlier today. Take a listen.
Okay, so did you see the flag? Does that surprise any of you at all? Does it surprise you at all? So, yeah. Free Palestine, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, I tell you what, there's more of this that I've got to share as I'm going to be breaking down this whole Trump derangement syndrome thing and this whole phenomenon of how we've got these idiots in Congress that get masses of people to believe in things that don't exist, to live in this fantasy land. And it's all for a purpose. It's to get them upset enough to vote for them and also donate, to give their hard-earned money. So we're going to go deeper into that. Would you like me to dive deeper into this and show more contrasting proof that we've got masses of people living in a fantasy land that are so far out of touch with reality that there ain't a psychiatrist or a medication on planet Earth that could bring them back into the real world? What do you think about that? Let me know, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it some more. Please like and subscribe and share this with a friend if you appreciate hearing a black conservative's perspective on these things. All right. Welcome aboard all of the new people, all you new subscribers. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you on board, and we're going to be on quite the journey, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's all I got for this one. This is Carlton, and I'm out.